Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Leading Edge Cricket Podcast. Today we're getting stuck into almost the final games of the County Championship season. We've got promotions, we've got titles, and we've got relegation battles going on. We've got 5 now finished T20 internationals. The last ball has literally just been bowled in the Pakistan-England game. We've got the Strauss review. We've been chomping at the bit to get stuck into this. We've got what is high performance wrapped around Andrew Strauss. And why is it so important to have high performance rather than fun? What is going on there? As well as talking through all the quick singles at the end. I'm Rob. This is Rich. Welcome to the podcast.
How are we doing, Rob? What's going on?
We're good. I was feeling good. I feel a little bit disappointed with your choice of top today.
Sorry. Yeah, let's just cricket fans don't care. I don't think we've got the biggest cricket versus American football market here. So probably best not talk about it too much, Rob. It's just to annoy you. That's all right, because my team beat your team.
It is. So those that don't know, Rich's team beat my team very badly, almost as badly as that 2-day game there was in round 13 of the County Championship when Lancashire was 7 for 6. It was kind of that sort of setting of a game. But yeah, we're going to start in the county cricket market, Rich, because there's heaps going on. We're getting right down to the nitty-gritty. The last round of games are going on at the moment.
Yes, they certainly are, aren't they? And it was last week, though, we actually got the big story, was that Surrey were crowned champions. And I do believe, start of this summer, Rob, we might have actually got a prediction correct. Surrey. I'm saying that. I might be changing history. If anyone wants to look back, they can do. We certainly said that Surrey could take it close. That was a shout, wasn't it? If they weren't too impacted with England international call-ups, which, Pope folks, but they've not been decimated like they have in other years, have they? But Surrey were crowned champions, Rob. They beat Yorkshire by 10 wickets. It's their 21st county championship title, and the celebrations began at the Oval once openers Rory Burns and Ryan Patel led them to a victory, knocking off just 55-run target. Ollie Pope, though, he helped set up the win with his first innings, 136, Rob, as they put up a Graham Gooch or an old nightclub in Shoreditch, which I used to go to. Score of 3-3-3. Some very niche comment, that is, in that first innings. But that was what made the game, basically. I'm sorry. They thoroughly deserved the win. Hampshire have took it pretty close. Lancashire have got a good head of steam as well, haven't they? With Keaton Jennings, immensely, incredible form towards the end of the summer. But Surrey, well-deserved champions, Rob.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And they've done it. I put out a tweet yesterday or the day before, which was the top 10 run scorers in the country, shortly followed for Division 1, shortly followed by one that was the top 10 wicket takers in the country for Division 1. And throughout all of those top 10s, there was only one Surrey player. And it wasn't Rory Burns, who's had a great year with 842 runs at an average of 40. It was actually Dan Worrell, who's got 39 wickets at 24, who's been exceptional. And I think this is what the beauty of the Surrey team is. They've had these England players come in and perform well. Ollie Pope's had a pretty reasonable season, not maybe quite as Ollie Pope as would seem, but he's averaged 70 with 700 runs. Rory Burns has scored runs and played every single game, not got the call-up back to the England team. And Ben Foakes was exceptional early season, averaging 73. And this is kind of how the team's set. No one's gone on and scored 1,000 runs. But looking at this, I can see 10 players who's played cricket this year that average over 40. And if you look at the bowling, you've got Worrell. These guys all average under 30. Worrell, de Grandhomme, Joverton, Kemar Roach, Atkinson, Steele. Reece Topley averaged 31, Ross Moriarty 32, Clark 35. Like it's such a team environment, and it shows what you can do as a team, because sometimes when you get the pressure of having like a big wig that scores all your runs, or one bowler you really rely on, when they don't perform, like it's hard to win games of cricket. Whereas this team has got the oozing talent through their academy year on year, and it's just coming to fruition here. Every single time someone came in, the added value. Sam Curran made an first-class century. Tom Curran came in, played one game last week. I think he's played this week as well, but scored a century. Like he's not played first-class cricket in years. That's the quality of team that you've got here, and definitely the deserved winners. And rolling back to the preview as well, we said Surrey or Hampshire. So I think we've done pretty well on a 1-2 there. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I mean, whether we went Hampshire or Surrey, who cares? We're going to say it was Surrey. Definitely Surrey. We definitely said it was Surrey. Nobody needs to check. You can trust us. So Hampshire looked like they should get the runner-up spot. But like I said, Lancashire have got a positive result in this final round as well. But I think we're going to leave the more of the in-depth chat to how the county championship's gone until maybe the next time we get together, Rob, so we can go give it a little bit more what it deserves. But I do just want to also mention at the bottom of the table, Gloucestershire had already gone, hadn't they? And it does look like Warwickshire could join them. It's a bit of a tough one. Yorkshire are kind of just clinging on, but Warwickshire, if things go badly against Hampshire, as we'd imagine it probably will end up doing on the final day tomorrow, Warwickshire could be joining them. You did mention that Essex-Lancashire game. That was ridiculous, Rob. Just one of the lowest scoring games, done in over just about 4 sessions. 131 as an innings was the highest score. And then they were just set, was it 95 to win? And they were bowled out for 53, Essex were, to give Lancashire a win. George Balderson, a hat-trick in that 4th innings, 5 for 14 for him. Will Williams for Lancashire as well, 4 for 24. Ridiculous. I don't know what's gone on at the end of the summer, but just bizarre. 4 sessions of cricket, 4 innings, game over.
The track wasn't great. After the first day, I watched the highlights, and then for the start of the second day, that was my choice of game for the evening down here.
Yeah,
and the pitch wasn't very good. Glenn Chappell came out and went, "That's not really a cricket pitch you want to be playing first-class cricket on." And the whole thing just reminded me a little bit of like Sunday cricket, where you turn up on a wet dog, where the sheep have been grazing, and that's what's done the wicket. And it's really difficult being a first-class groundsman, because you get rubbish thrown at you when the pitches aren't very good. And then for 99% of the time when everything's great, it doesn't even get mentioned. But this wasn't quite up to scratch in what you would expect.
No, not at all. Not at all. Division 2, Rob, big news as well today. Nottinghamshire they've confirmed their promotion. The game is still going on. Bit of a bizarre game in this one, where Notts put up an epic first innings lead, didn't they? First innings score, they then bowled out Durham, who were without David Bedingham due to injury, but 455 run lead. So obviously they put Durham in as a follow-on, but they didn't. They had a bat. They decided to have a bat, probably to let the bowlers put their feet up, including Stuart Broad, who was playing in this one. And now they did declare, and they are back out there, and they've got a couple of wickets already, I think. So Notts have already clinched that promotion. Like I say, we'll dig more into it as we go. 4 centurions for Notts in this game. A big turnaround after they were beat by an innings by a very impressive Worcestershire last week. The team to join Notts was not as clear-cut. Middlesex and Glamorgan were fighting for it. Even if Notts finishes a draw, we believe on bonus points, they will still be confirmed as the title winners. So the only thing getting in Notts' way is slow over rates and point deductions. So they're going to have to be careful on that one, I'm sure. But yeah, it's going to be a close one to see who gets that runner-up. Down at the bottom, though, Rob, Leicestershire, possibly unsurprisingly, they will finish the season propping up the rest.
Yeah, it isn't a surprise, mate. Their batting has been very poor all year. I think they are statistically the worst team in the country. On Twitter, you can follow us at Leading Edge Pod. I did a tweet showing every team's average and strike rate, and I'm sure Leicestershire were way bottom, and their bowling attack has been leaky. There's a constant call for a plumber around Leicestershire to try and plug it. So a really tough year, but remember, they did have some good runs in white ball competitions, and I think his name was Sean Jarvis, the CEO, did some really good things around giving cheap tickets out to try and fill the ground and get people in to watch the blast. So very likeable county.
Yeah,
that's probably a little bit apprehensive about the Andrew Strauss report, particularly being where they are, the ground and all those sorts of things, and being near Nottinghamshire. But yeah, it's to be expected. They are at the bottom of the barrel, very much wooden spoon sort of team at the moment, but things could get better. I just want to shout out to Notts for how good they've been this year, Rich, because we watch a lot of the Notts stuff and obviously mates with Brace and chat to him about it. But this has been such a well-rounded unit. The type of player like Montgomery coming in and playing 4 first-class games, scoring this huge 178, picking up a 50 as well, averaging 46. Joey Everson, when he was at Notts, averaged almost 50 this year. Mullaney averaged 52 and made the top 10 list of run scorers in Division 2. Under the radar. Yeah. Remember at the start of the season, we had a bad day against Sussex, and then he came in and had an all-rounder sort of game. Lyndon James averaged 50, Hamid 50, Stuart Broad averaged 59, and Ben Duckett, absolutely incredible. Ben Duckett scored 1,000 runs at an average of 70 with a strike rate of 76, batting at 3. I think that's exceptional. And the Notts bowling attack, 10 players averaged under 30 with the ball. That means they used a lot of players, but incredible. Dane Patterson, over 50 wickets, averaging 22. Mulaney, brilliant, 15 wickets, averaging 26. And everyone just chipping in. You know, you got what you get out of Luke Fletcher, less wickets, but averaged 27. Liam Patterson-White at one stage was in fact, 2 rounds ago, was the top spinner in the country in terms of wickets taken across the 2 divisions. So they've just done it. Again, there's no one player that you look at going, this guy has led it. There's lots of players that have added value throughout the season for them. Consistent.
Absolutely. And it's great as an England supporter as well. Obviously, you see people like Hasib Hamid and Ben Duckett doing so well, hopefully putting pressure on the selectors. And we'll be talking about Ben Duckett very, very shortly in the England-Pakistan T20s. But Dane Patterson...
Great call on Hamid. Hamid's strike rate this year is 62.
Not messing about.
Different player. Different player to what we saw in Australia.
Everybody, I don't think anybody would have done particularly well in those conditions, but he will come back. We always said he will. We hope he does. Duckett, as we said, we'll talk about shortly. Dane Patterson, though, he's over 100 wickets in his 2 seasons at Nottinghamshire. It's so good to have an overseas player in county cricket that is there. He turns up. I did listen on the commentary a little bit, and they were saying, he turns up in April, he clears off at the end of September. That doesn't happen very often, so it just shows you the value of having a real quality performer like him be a consistent member of the dressing room.
It showed as well when I was looking through like the top 10 list, an overseas bowler, if your batting's okay, get an overseas bowler. Top 10 list of Division 1 batters were all English batters. We removed from the start of the summer where we had no batting in the country. Well, the top 10 run scorers were English batters, and there was more overseas players in the top 10 bowlers. So overseas bowlers can come in and make a real impact and take high quality wickets. And just what you're saying here with Patterson, just brilliant. Bring someone in, 50 wickets a season, your jobs are good.
Yeah, absolutely. So should we get on to it? Big series at the moment in Pakistan. England touring for the first time in 20 odd years, or what it feels like that anyway. It might not be that long. 2004 was it last time they were there?
2004, mate. Yeah. Let's have a chat, because we delayed the start of the podcast waiting for the game to finish.
Absolutely, yeah.
And watching it on the old phone. So, yeah.
Yeah, we expected this to be a cracker. We both predicted a very, very tight series. I think I said 4-3 Pakistan. You probably said 4-3 England, something along those lines. We expected it to be close. We expected it to be a cracker. And it's 3-2 now after the 5th game just completed. The first in Lahore after 4 completed in Karachi, finishing 2-2 in the Karachi leg. Let's see how it goes, Rob. Let's have a bit of a summary for each game. Just take it from the first one, I think, and then we'll just pick little bits out of it if you want. Tell me to shut up if you want on some of these as well, but we'll go from the first one then. So first game in Karachi got underway, 6-wicket win with 14 balls remaining for England. Chase down 158, and the biggest story of this one, Rob, Alex Hales returned from international wilderness, half century for him, 3 years out of an England shirt. Got himself 50. That was a fantastic effort from him. Pakistan, it's all about Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan, isn't it, at the top of the order? And in this first game, it showed it straight out the traps, isn't it? 9 overs, 85 for none. Azam was the first man out, bowled by Adil Rashid. If you can get one of those boys out relatively early, first 12 overs, you're in with a good chance, aren't you? Iftikhar Ahmed, useful 28 for him in the middle order. Luke Wood, debutant, little left armour, who's Lancashire now ex-Notts. He bowled with pace and guard. He took 3 for 24 with scalps of Ahmad, Mohammad Nawaz and Naseem Shah. In reply, Salt and Hales got going straight away. Salt caught mid-wicket boundary. I think we're going to be talking about that a lot. Strength, but could be a weakness for Salt at the top of the order. Dawid Milan, 20 off 15 for him. It was all about Hales. He got 53 off 40 balls before being caught by Azam off Harris Ralph. Ben Duckett. How is this only his second T20 international cap, Rob? Yeah. It seems remarkable, but he made his long overdue return and looked very good. He likes a sweep. He loves a reverse sweep, though. Generally entertaining, 21 off 17 in, but Harry Brook, the star of the summer, just his 5th T20 international, saw England home with a lovely unbeaten 42 off just 25 deliveries alongside skipper Moeen Ali in place for the injured Josh Butler.
Nicely done. I agree with Duckett. I think Duckett is such a high-quality player, any format that he's involved in. His hands are insane. And I like his demeanour at the crease, actually. He's so positive, and he looks so focused and solid for 5'5" maybe of him. he's just in. His hands are incredible. He's got every single sweep shot going, and he plays it with power. They're not just little dinks generally. I don't know if he's got a hockey background or something like that, but it's just quite incredible on the sweep shot. He's just looks like he should be playing international cricket. And there's probably been quite a few players for England over the year that haven't got into this team because the team have been so solid and so set, particularly around the batting. And Harry Brook does look like an international cricketer. He had that one test match where he just come out of playing the 100 or, carrying drinks for the summer after a great start. He averaged over 100 in the county championship this year. That's not to be sniffed at.
Ridiculous.
But he looks an incredible player. He has every single shot in the book. And I know we're talking about professional players, but not every single player can play these cover drives easily over covers for 6 and stick it in the stands like he can. He is a special player. I don't want to give him the Joe Root comparison in terms of ceiling,
no.
But there is a incredibly high ceiling of what he's going to be able to do at international level for us. He's a genuine, or will be a genuine world-class operator.
Absolutely, and he's had an impact in this series more than just that. As lovely as that unbeaten 42 off 25 was, we'll go in and get onto it a second. In that third game, he was absolutely stunning. So this series is just going to keep going back and forth, isn't it? And the second one, Pakistan got back on level terms with a 10-wicket win with just 3 balls remaining. We talked about this Pakistan batting lineup being the Mohammad Rizwan and Babar Azam show, and this is exactly what it was as they chased down the 200-run target, 203 for none. Azam striking a stunning 66 ball, 110, whilst Rizwan was 88 off 51. 3 balls remaining, as we said. And skipper Moeen Ali's going to rue his decision, I think, in this one, Rob. 12th over the innings, it went for 21. He tried to have a bowl. He thought, I can buy a wicket here. 21 off your 1 over. That's not what you want to see, especially when you get beat by 10 wickets. But I can understand why he did it. So earlier in the day, England, they got 199. Salt and Hales once again getting England off to a pretty good start. Shanawaz Dahani climbed the scalps of Hales, 26 of 21. And Milan for a golden duck in successive deliveries. Ralph then cleaned up Salt for 30. Duckett impressed, though, rapid 43 off 22. Harry Brook hit a lovely 31 off 19. And Moeen Ali was unbeaten on 55 at the end of just 23 deliveries. Obviously not enough. Pakistan, if you don't get Rizwan and Babar Azam, you're not going to win many games of cricket.
No, you're not. Shout out to Dahani here. I absolutely love watching him bowl. He's full of beans. His celebrations are outstanding. He's like a fast bowling Imran Tahir. He's off around the stand, blowing kisses in. He gets to the boundary rope. I've got a lot of time for good energy on the field. And it is a very talented bowling attack, particularly when you put Shaheen Shah Afridi in at the top. You got Naseem Shah, who's come back in. I thought Hasnain was a little bit expensive. He's got pace, but he's raw.
Yep.
But I look at this England team. David Milan's got to be looking over his shoulder at the moment.
Yeah.
He's having after coming off a particularly outstanding T20 blast and the 100, where he was making runs for fun, but he opened the batting. And that's a problem England have got. They've got a lot of guys that are very good at opening and want to open the batting and hit 6s and 4s in the first 6 overs. Milan's had a sneaky poor series, and he's got a history of strike rating really low. And then you've got guys like Duckett and Brook, who have come in at, overs 10, 11 and things like that when Salt got out. And they've scored at a 195 and a 163 strike rate in those middled overs, which is incredibly high during those overs. So it wouldn't surprise me if at some stage you maybe see towards the back end of the series, maybe see Milan moving out, maybe rested. And someone else moving up. Also, Moeen Ali has been exceptional this series as captain. Well. I think he's a good captain, actually, because we said at the start of the series how good this Pakistan team is. Pakistan team generally is very good at chasing, very poor at setting scores, which is incredibly like England across all the different formats. Every team likes chasing these days because it's very easy to give yourself a number of 6.5 and go, cool, we need to go 6.5 and do it. So, good performance from Pakistan. But like you said, if you can get past Rizwan and you can get past Babar Azam, you can get through this Pakistan team because the back end of the innings has done absolutely nothing this series. But the problem is Rizwan and Babar Azam are exceptional and keep being exceptional and keep scoring a hell of a lot of runs in the series.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move it on to the third game where England got back on top with a 63-run victory on this one. This was the coming out party, wasn't it, of Harry Brook? And this is what the game's going to be all about. And I've got a brilliant little bit of Harry Brook information for you. It might involve his middle name. So 10-wicket defeat in the last game. 63-run win, you said in this one. They put up a 221 for just 3 wickets down, did England, before the England bowlers did what they needed to do and restricted Pakistan to just 153 for 8. Mark Wood, fit again, looking fast. Phil Salt, another man that's probably disappointed, I'd say, so far in his output. Same as Milan. They were both removed pretty early. Debutant opener, Will Jacks, another man that's coming in on this series. He was in for Hales in this game. He played very, very well. Very impressive. 40 off 22 before Usman Khadir removed him. Jacks is someone we need to talk about at the end of this game, Rob. Ben Duckett, Harry Brook, they're batting at 4 and 5. Superb. Absolutely brilliant. Putting a partnership of 139 to England, the innings home. Duckett, 70 off 42. And somehow he was overshadowed by Harry Brook, who was absolutely class, striking 81 off just 35 balls, including 5 sixes, a strike rate of 231.42. Pakistan openers obviously so effective in that last outing. They made just 8 runs with Mark Wood claiming Azam, whilst Reece Topley took Rizwan before Wood came back for Haider Ali for 3. Shan Masood, though, he was the mainstay, finished unbeaten on 63 off 45, whilst wickets tumbled all around. Adil Rashid claimed the wickets of Kushtil Shah and Mohammad Nawaz, 29 and 19 respectively, who held on a little bit with Shan Masood. But Wood was super impressive, very, very fast. I think his slower ball was 80 miles an hour. That's how fast he bowled. 3 for 24 for him on his 4 overs in his comeback. And the most important thing I know you're waiting for, Harry Brook's middle name, Rob, is Cherrington. Harry Cherrington Brook. His posh stakes have just gone through the roof with Harry Brook.
That is incredible. Cherrington.
Love
that
it.
Feels like a t-shirt. Cherrington.
Yes.
Or everyone in the crowd going, Cherrington.
Yep.
That might be a little bit mocky, but mate, this was good. Mark Wood clocked up 97 miles an hour.
Woo.
He absolutely changed the dynamics of this England team, having someone that is genuine gas. And, it's incredibly hard for someone that bowls as fast as he does these days, because there's so much cricket, so many different formats, to play every single format. For the World Cup, I think he's done the right thing. He's gone away. He's been injured. He's gone away. He's got fit. Come play the T20. And same with Ollie Stone. We'll talk about Ollie Stone in the next game. But such a huge difference maker coming in. Also, Reece Topley has been maybe a little bit under the radar good for England in every single game that he's played. He seems to be extremely consistent about what he does. His pace isn't gas, it's 140, so it's quick enough, but good bounce, does a bit off the seam, gets a little bit of swing, actually. I saw him swing it in this series in the first few overs, and that was the first time where I'd really seen him get it back into the right-hander. So there's obviously some good work going on there as well. But it is the Duckett and Brook show. And it was so strange. It was just like watching 2 lads absolutely calm. Brook looks like he's having an absolute blast in the middle, and Duckett's just stoic and strong and so focused about what he's doing, where Brook's got a big smile on his face. He's just dumping the ball over, hooking the ball for 6, dumping it over cover for 6. It's a snapshot of the future of this England white ball team this series. And I'm really glad these people are getting given the opportunity they deserve.
Absolutely. And Will Jacks is somebody that's already, there's a conversation going on. He's picking the brains of Moeen Ali on this tour. Moeen Ali probably won't be touring Pakistan with the test side. Adil Rashid also probably not going to be touring with the test side. So you're looking for that second spinner to go alongside Jack Leach. Will Jacks is somebody that's putting himself forward as that all-rounder. 3-format
international player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Lots of potential for him. So fourth T20, the last one in Karachi, Pakistan. They won this one by 3 runs, Rob. Record-breaking 200th T20 international for Pakistan. Most games played by any nation so far. They batted first, put up a score of 166 for 4. Looked on the low side. I think the famous words in my living room was, "Oh, that's not enough." It proved to be enough, as they managed to dismiss England for 163. Wonderful team bowling display from Pakistan, led by Haris Rouse, 3 for 32. So let's go through this again. Then Babur Azam and Mohammad Razwan, they once again did the damage. If Pakistan win, those boys have done well. 97 for that partnership before Liam Dawson snaffled Azam. Rizwan kept the scoring going and batted through to the final over of the game, where he was eventually removed by that man, Reece Topley. Hales finally catching one after shelling one, was it two earlier? I don't know what was going on with Alex Hales' hands. The electric hands were back. So Shamsu 21 though kept Rizwan company for a while, but with the scoring not looking enough, Asif Ali's 3-ball 13, including 2 sixes, proved vital. It's funny, isn't it? The bloke only faced 3 balls at the end of the innings, but he probably was the reason Pakistan hung on and clinched that game, if you want to look at it from the batting side. In reply, England soon reduced 14-3. The top order did not get going after 11 balls. Salt, Hales, Jacks, all back in the hutch. Some solid opening bowling from Mohammad Nawaz and Mohammad Hasnain. Relatively ordinary shots, got to be said, from those 3 England batters, though. So it was left to Duckett and Brook again to see what they could do. Duckett, 33 off 24 before being removed LBW by Nawaz. Maybe that's something that Duckett just needs to concentrate on a little bit. With his tendency to sweep, he needs to make sure he is getting outside the line. Moeen Ali, though, he was going well before he went for 29 off 20, completely missing one. Shortly after, Harry Brook, 34 off 29, caught on the rope. David Willey came in, cleaned up, Waka Yunus-esque Yorker from Haris Ralph. Got to get a Waka Yunus reference in when someone bowls a Yorker from Pakistan. Liam Dawson, another name. We spoke about Will Jacks as a potential man to keep an eye on for the Test series. Liam Dawson, the spinner, the man can bat. He got 34 off 17 balls as well. Looked like he would take England to victory with just 5 to win. He mistimed a pull and was caught off the bowling of Asif Ali. Score on just 162, Rob. So close, nearly there. Key wicket in the end. Debutant Ollie Stone went next ball. Reece Topley was run out not long after. England stranded off on 163. Incredible scenes, Pakistan crowd. Brilliant win for them to level the series. Just unbelievable, really. And it's just a shock for me that England wasn't able to chase that target down.
Yeah, I actually don't know how we ended up losing that. There's a point where I thought we're not going to win it. And then there was a point we're not going to lose it. And we somehow went from 158 for 7 to 163 all out. And we hit a 4 before then. So we're actually 162 for 7 and then lost 3 wickets for 1 run to lose the game. I particularly felt for Dawson, and I particularly felt for him when I saw him punching a chair while he was sat there by himself on the sideline. I can remember being a goalkeeper and we'd conceded about 8 and I started punching the floor and my mum told me off.
Is that the only thing you've punched in a dressing room or around the dressing room, Rob?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I've never had to write a letter apologising on your behalf for anything like that.
At Long Watton.
As a captain.
Absolutely.
What was the door doing there anyway? Look, we've all been in a dressing room where there's a hole in the wall or something. It's like, I wonder who did that. I wonder how did they get... Someone must have got a bad LBW decision on that one. It's shaped like a cricket bat.
I think I can't remember how many scored. I think I caught 12. I was out 4th ball of the innings for 12 off with 3 boundaries.
Okay, right. Fair enough.
Funny times. I particularly felt for Liam Dawson. Liam Dawson's class. And Liam Dawson, I think, can add value as a squad player to England in any white ball format whenever we need him to come in. Adil Rashid obviously being the frontline spinner. Dawson's a great second spinner because he's multifaceted player, can bat, bowl, field. And I think that's where Parkinson probably gets let down. And plus you want variety in your attack. I know England's variety is bowling left armers and he fits the bill of bowling as a left armer. But you don't really want 2 leggies in your starting 11 ideally. And if you've got a left armer, it allows you to, have some slightly different matchups. And then if you've got someone that can bowl a bit of off spin like Liam Livingstone, you kind of covering all bases to make sure you're trying to spin the ball away from the batter. So I'm not quite sure how England went about losing this after. I'm not quite sure how they got back into the game. Bowling wise, I thought Dawson was pretty good. Reece Topley was good again. Ollie Stone looked a little rusty. Good to see him in an England kit. Good to see him fit. Good to see him bowling. His pace was good. He got up to 150, I think it was. Not quite as quick as Wood, but who is around the world. Other than Malik from India, that's probably about it. So I think we're good. And just a great game of cricket. I was watching it. I watch it on repeat on Sky Go out here 24 hours later. And I thought it was just a good game of cricket. It was good nighttime entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. So fifth game, Rob, they moved on to Lahore now for the final 3 T20s. And Pakistan won this one by 6 runs. Again, it's a low-scoring game again. Pakistan, they only put up 145, but they've somehow restricted England to 139. And this was always going to be about Mark Wood ripping through the Pakistan top order, 3 for 10, and then finishing 3 for 20. David Willey, 2 for 23. That's what this game was going to be about when we spoke about it. 145 all out, a great bowling performance from England. England take the lead, take the win, but it's not. Pakistan have done it. They've pulled it out of the hat, haven't they? It was a bit of a shambolic batting performance from Pakistan, though. Shadab Khan run out soon after Moeen Ali was run out, 88 for 6. Then it was 99 for 7. Whole lot of bother. 26-year-old all-rounder Amir Jamil. He made 10 on his debut before being caught behind Phil Salt as well. But it was just one of those where you're looking around and you think, how are Pakistan going to get out of this? And the reason they could is because they had one of Azam and Rizwan still batting, and it was Rizwan this time, wasn't it? He's the constant. He held his end up basically for 17 overs of this innings, finally removed for 63 off 46. Yeah. Doesn't sound the best thing in the world, but he is again the reason Pakistan have been able to get this game over the line. He made sure that they got through and got something to bowl at, and it was enough in the end, wasn't it? Sam Curran got a couple of wickets, and he was involved again. He got a catch to bring the innings to a close, 145 off 19 overs. Chris Wokes with the wicket. Great to see Chris Wokes back after basically his last international performance was in March, wasn't it, in West Indies? A frustrating year for Wokes with injuries and whatnot. So it's really, really good to see him back. England in response, though, they've made a bit of a pig's ear of this, didn't they? Hales was gone 5th ball of the innings. Mohammad Nawaz getting him. Harris Ralph then removed Salt for 3. As we said, Phil Salt's not had the most prolific of series so far. Caught similarly as well. We spoke about in the first game, getting caught mid-wicket. It's a repeating method of dismissal. Yeah. Perhaps that's something he just needs to focus on, and I'm sure he will be doing. But the informed pair, Duckett and Brook, were not able to get going with this one. Duckett hold out for 10. Brook LBW for 4, was it? But Moeen Ali was the man that kept this going for England. He was there all the way through to the end. Sam Curran, 17 off 11 before he was removed by Jamil, his first international wicket. And England just didn't have enough, did they? Didn't quite have enough time really to get going. Wokes got 10. Moeen Ali finished 51 not out off 37 deliveries. England needed 15 off the final over. A Moeen Ali 6 wasn't enough, and Pakistan held out, didn't they? Clinched the win. They take the 3-2 lead, 2 games remaining. Good value, Pakistan, this one. This was a tough game for them because they really had no right to win this one. So I think this, out of all the games, forget your 10-wicket win. I think this is the one that they'll be most proud of so far.
Yeah, I did mention Pakistan, and Pakistan fans think that they're not very good at setting targets. Well, they've just defended 160 and they've just defended 140, and that's pretty exceptional to be able to do that. And if you're England and you've got Salt and Hales at the top, you're worried about your power play at the moment and how we fill the Johnny Bairstow void, how we move on from Jason Roy. We've got problems. I know Roy would normally open and Bairstow in the middle, but Bairstow would have opened here.
Yep.
He's a great player of spin and particularly efficient against seam bowling in the power play. So, opportunities are there for players. Don't really feel like they're taking it. I think Phil Salt's averaging 11 in the series, but more worryingly, he's got a strike rate of 111. That's not very Phil Salt-esque. Phil Salt is a boundary hitter, and he's not being a boundary hitter. So we can look at it and go, England are failing. We could actually look at it and go, actually, Pakistan are bowling really well during these periods, and they're setting really good fields. There's only a couple of fielders out, and Phil Salt is hitting the fielder. So they're obviously working out really well where he's going to be hitting the ball based on where the ball's bouncing and height and all the rest of it. And then they're taking the chances that come the way. So credit to Pakistan. England, a few questions maybe leading up to the World Cup about what the lineup's actually going to be like at the top. Moeen Ali's been brilliant. I think Liam Dawson's really good value. I like Sam Curran being part of the team. Mark Wood, Reece Topley, both very, very good. And you're right, it is good to see what the World Cup starting lineup with the ball will look like, and who's going to get the nod. Because I think you've got to have Mark Wood in there. You've got to have Rashid in there. Moeen Ali's got to be part of your squad. He's After a really, really rough IPL, he's starting to
Mm.
find his feet again and batting real nicely. And I think we're a better team when we've got a Chris Wokes and the control that he offers in those middle overs alongside Rashid. So it's going to be interesting lead up to the World Cup for England, which actually starts in about 2.5 weeks.
It's very, very soon, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's 2 games left in this one. England do seem to be divvying out the opportunities. It'd be interesting to see if Jacks and Luke Wood, for example, get another run. There's a few other members of the squad that haven't played yet. Richard Gleeson, the 34-year-old, is he? Quick man, Lancashire player at the moment. I'd like to see him get a go. Tom Helm, Middlesex Seameries in there, and also young Jordan Cox from Kent. It does appear though that Joss Butler's not going to be playing. If he does, we're getting into the possibly Joss Butler territory in the last couple of games, but I'd imagine now they'll be sensible, holding back. After this, England do go off to Australia for 3 T20 games as well, coming up on the 9th, 12th and 14th of October. So it probably makes more sense. It's really good though that Joss Butler decided to go on this tour. It's just so sensible, really, isn't it? Even if he had a feeling he probably wouldn't be playing, but what he is doing, he's around the squad and he's getting to know everybody, isn't he? So it's a good move from him as a new captain.
Good PR after what happened, having a superstar like Joss Butler out there, just being part of the conversation with the Pakistan people. I quite like that. If I was Pakistan as well, I would be batting Shah Masood at number 3 in that lineup, 100%. He's a world-class operator. He had a superb PSL. He lit up the county championship. He lit up the T20 Blast. Scored a 50, batting at 4 or 5, and then we saw him start to move up the order to number 4, I think it was, in the 4th game. I'd bat him at 3 behind Azam and Rizwan. Rizwan scored 315 runs in 5 innings, average of 78, 4 50s, and a strike rate of 140. Rizwan, that was Babar Azam, 194 runs, averaging 48, strike rate of 142, 1 century. That is such the core key to what they do. I feel Masood can be a real addition at the top of the lineup for them, and the bowling attack's good. The bowling attack could cause teams problems.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where we are at the minute. 2 games to go, 3-2 to Pakistan. Can't wait for the next 2 games. Let's just quickly rattle through. We're going to kind of amalgamate the chat of the Strauss review, the Red Bull reset. Just condense it down a little bit, and we can maybe take a bit more time and think and come back about it. We want to hear people's thoughts on this as well. We want that to be part of this conversation. We can have our own opinions about this, but it's always nice to know what other people have got to say about something as important as this. So I'm going to rattle through some points, Rob, and we just I think what would be really good is just get that initial reaction of if we think these positive, negative, really, isn't it? We'll get into it a little bit, but so we'll talk about some of the smaller ones first that have been proposed. There are 17 proposals in all, 2 to be voted on by counties, and they're going to be the proposals that are going to be impact the actual structure, etc. But these smaller points are just things that the ECB can bring in. So first one I've got here is a pilot of the use of the Kookaburra ball, Rob, over the Dukes.
Like it. I like that. I'd actually like to see a variety of balls. If you're thinking about how often you actually use the English Duke, I want to say Duke.
Yep.
How often you use it across the world, it's less than half of the countries, test playing countries. There's only, in fact, there might even only be us in West Indies. I can't remember off the top of my head. So it makes sense to have some games available with the Kookaburra ball. I wouldn't go full hog and go, we're just going to play with the Kookaburra ball.
No, it's got to be a
High
pilot.
Performance, to me, appears to be covering multi things and giving people all the experience they need to go and conquer. So, I'm all for that.
Yeah, we need to be careful though. We're not just introducing a ball that's not going to do as much. It's not going to, hold itself up to the conditions, etc. In England, you need that challenge with the bat. We don't want to see 600 play 600 and it's a draw. Interestingly, in the way they're looking at the point structure in the county championship, they want to reward high scoring teams and teams that win. So that can be a little bit of a trying to reward 2 sides of the same thing. If you're scoring highly, you've got to bowl the team out twice after that, haven't you? So we shall see. Kookaburra ball, it's up for debate. I've heard some negative people being negative about the idea, but it's a pilot. I don't think there's any harm in a pilot. Reintroduction of North v South as curtain raiser series games of cricket. I thought the other year when they had these over in Barbados, it was fantastic. A way of getting players that are in and around England recognition to come together, a bit like a Lions, isn't it? But you're talking about players that are a little bit older as well. I think this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, definitely. And it should be made a big deal that you've been selected for this team.
Yeah.
I'd like
An
that
honour.
rather than it just popping up going, oh, there's a game today and these players are playing. Like, make it mean something. I know we're both like the NFL, but being voted to the Pro Bowl, not necessarily the game, is a big deal. It's recognition. And you can kind of, in your career, go, well, actually, you made the North v South team 4 times. And in New Zealand, during COVID, they created the old North Island versus South Island rugby union games.
Nice.
And they were probably the best games of rugby I saw in the last 2 years watching them. And because it meant so much to the players playing in them as well. So I think it's a great addition.
Yeah, I do as well. One reintroduction of an under-17 England team. Didn't realise there wasn't one, in all honesty, but I think it's good to have that. If you're missing an age group, it's good to have that. So I don't think there's anything bad about that. A refocus of the Lions, something that we've really spoke about before, Rob, is that they need to make sure that Lions is getting more cricket, more good quality cricket. Get them out. I don't know if this is part of it, but you need to be sending an England Lions team out wherever England are touring. So if England go to Pakistan this winter, send an England Lions team out and let them have a couple of games of cricket as well. And there's players there ready to go if we need them. So I think that's great. They're also looking at an 80-20 split between red ball and 50 over. No T20 cricket for the Lions. And the aim of this is going to be streamlining towards the Test ODI sides. Good idea, I think.
I think that's actually pretty solid, actually, because there's so much T20 cricket available to players. Like, if you're a good player, like Will Smeed, you've already started playing in the PSL and other countries. Phil Salt played in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Caribbean. There's opportunities galore for someone that's half decent in that format. I like it. England A should play way more cricket, like you said. I'm all in on that.
Yeah, devil is in the detail, obviously, on that, of how they'll play the cricket, where they'll play it, or whatever. But I just think it has to be a priority focus to get people ready for international cricket. There's going to be an overhaul of central contracts. Don't want to go into detail or what detail there is. It's minimal at the moment. They're probably looking at things like multi-year contracts. It's going to be holding off, isn't it, that lure of T20 franchise money. If you can pay these players across the 3 formats, you're going to have different groups of players probably in each set of those. Pay them differently, pay them longer term, give them that security. It might just make them just think twice about, going for some of this money.
It's not too dissimilar to rugby and the problem that a lot of countries face, where there's not a lot of money in the international game, but the international game has the mana and the prestige wrapped around it that everyone wants to play in. But you can get paid 6 times as much money for a very easy season playing in the Japanese league. And if you play outside of your country in rugby union, particularly in New Zealand, you're not eligible to play for your country at the same time. So you've got to play in the domestic system. So generally, players sign up for like a 4-year contract for the World Cup campaign. I'm all for it. Multi-year contracted. Tie them in. You've got to have a long stick to back down the T20 money.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is what's going to have the most discussion, isn't it? This is going to be the part where we just quickly talk about the structure of the summer and how they're going to look at it. Instead of an August in the background 50 over Royal London One Day Cup competition, they're talking about bringing it into April as a short, sharp competition with an element of knockout, possible inclusion of minor counties. I can't remember if I dreamt that or not, but it's going to be at the start of the summer. It's still being disrespected, isn't it? 50 over competition. They're trying to provide it more of a quality by making sure that players are available to play in it and bring it back up a level. But it still feels it's being chucked around a little bit. I'm not sure about that. I'll just get on to the next couple first, Rob, and then we'll jump in. T20 reduction from 14 to 10 games per team group, playing a single window, June and July. Keeping it limited overs, 100. Well, no change. I mean, obviously, there's no problem with 100, is there? There's no need to change anything with 100 because it's perfect. And the county championship will be played May, June, July, and September. Can't get in the way of the 100, Rob. And they want a concentration of fixtures to improve standards and of talent. So the proposal is Division 1 of 6 teams where they play 10 games. Division 2 will have 2 Division 2s, where 2 leagues of 6 teams. And there's going to be 1 team coming down from Division 1, and the top team in both of the Division 2 leagues will play off to see who gets promoted to Division 1. Not great if you're a Leicestershire, Glamorgan, etc., because obviously concentration of talent, they want to see the best players in those top 6 teams.
No.
This is where we're going to get issues, and we've already had the likes of Leicestershire, Essex, Kent, Sussex, others already saying that they're not going to be voting through these proposals based upon this. So
they've got to get 12 out of 18 counties to sign up to it, right, to get this through. I look at this as uh, maybe like buying a house, and you put in an offer that you probably don't think they'll
Yes. Yeah,
accept, and
exactly.
it gives you a footing, kind of going, well, this is kind of where we want to go. Oh, well, we don't
Yeah.
like that, but what if it looked like
Hmm.
this kind of middle
Yes.
ground, and we end up with what we're actually kind of wanting at the start? So it feels like it's going to
Yeah.
be a negotiation for quite a while of stuff going
Yeah.
on. What do I like? I spoke about a reduction in county championship and having a Division 1 and various divisions below it, if as a possible option. I think I spoke about 3 divisions of 6. I really like the north, central, south sort of options we had during the COVID times, and how it made it feel that games were really important all the time, because you're either playing for promotion or relegation potentially in this format. So I don't think it'll go through. I'm not quite sure where the middle ground will be.
Hmm.
I don't think it's right. I don't. Going back to it, the problem is we've introduced a format that no one else in the world plays. That's cost us a boatload of money to produce, and it's taking peak time in the
Yes.
summer, and nothing else is rolling on at the same time. So that's caused the problem. We've seen that county championship cricket in September is not the best thing in the world. A la 7 for 6, and all these games finishing in 2 and 3s. There was a great tweet by, it might have been the Grumbler or from Dave Stack Griffin at Derbyshire, one of the two, that talked about the amount of days of county championship cricket that actually goes on in each month, as proposed days and actual game days that are played. And September was like miserly compared to what it actually could be, because of the weather, the conditions. So you've said before we came on air, they're not addressing the problem that actually they've thrown in this 100, which is causing the problem, and everything else is just trying to work it. I appreciate with what they're trying to achieve, but I don't think they've got it right just yet. And counties will say no, touch wood. Counties will say no. There's enough of them that will look at it and go, oh, we kind of don't feel like we've got a future there. And there will be some change, but it'll be something in the middle.
Yes, we've got to say, Strauss has come out and said that he's going to take this to around the counties now to discuss it. And I don't think I ever expected, I don't think they would be so naive, probably arrogant, but not naive, to expect that this will just get passed as it stands. This is going to have to be version 1.1, 2.1, whatever. Don't ever save it as final, and then you'll be fine. It'll be done.
If I was at work and I didn't have draft written on this, someone would pick this up and absolutely drag me across the court. Go, what's this?
Exactly. Yeah, and with August, that premium prime month of the summer, we're having this 100. Basically the competition that is there just to advertise crisps, and the only thing we're going to have in the background is Red Bull festivals. Specialist Red Ball players. It's flexible and to promote local rivalries. For example, the London Cup or the Roses Test Series. Come on. I mean, Strauss is talking. So on one hand, he's talking about how going to reduce down and actually have a higher, a smaller concentration of games, therefore higher quality, and you've got to put more of an emphasis on those games. You can't miss out as a player because you're not going to get so many. But then he's talking about you could play up to 14 games. Because the Red Bull festivals could be up to 3 fixtures. And then if you're the county in the playoff in Division 2, that could make 14. So you're only a couple of games shy of what it is at the moment, or game shy. So it's a bit of a mixed mash of ideas at the moment, isn't it? The overall concept of improving the standard and improving the competitiveness of it all is absolutely right. A good friend of ours, Luke, who's chairman of our cricket club, he came out and basically controversially said it's people like Darren Stevens that has a problem with county cricket. So we need to find his Twitter so everyone can send messages to him and say, how dare you? Darren Stevens is gone.
Oh, it's kind of right.
I take his point. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the point. Like if Darren Stevens at 45 is good enough to play at an elite level, like top 5-6 counties in the country, and hold a place and just tick away doing okay, maybe he's right. I do think there does need to be a change, because division, when we spoke about it, we spoke about structure, pathway, and high performance in something we did around April time. I feel like a reduction in not in teams, but in how the structure works, rather than just having 10 teams in Division 2. Like, some sort of change would be a good change, but it's trying to work out what exactly the right thing is to change, not just changing, going, oh well, this is sleek and pretty, and this could work. There will be stuff to like out of what comes from the change, because every single player in the county, there was some player survey that went on, said there's too much cricket, there's too many days, and there is too many days of cricket, so it does need reducing. We know why there's too many days of cricket, because the hundred's coming in going, hey mate, I'm going to take up your summer. So it's interesting, and there is a fantastic article that I haven't finished reading. I was reading it with blurred eyes this morning about what even is high performance. I think it was from the Telegraph, can't remember the writer. I'm going to tweet about it at Leading Edge Pod, so have a read over there, but that was shaping up to be a nice piece.
Absolutely. So, right. Should we just finish off, Rob? A few quick singles? Get limbered up.
7:50 a.m. I could do with a few quick singles to get me going today.
Right. So first and foremost, with the 2023 England international schedule has been announced, dropped, if you like, Rob. That's how the kids say it these days. Can't believe I just said that. Just thought I'd try and be cool, Rob. I'm great already. So a hectic June and July is coming, Rob. Next summer, they will play 6 test matches, 5 test Ashes series. All these 6 test matches are going to be in 61 days. It's going to kick off with a game against Ireland at Lords on 1st of June. Ashes then gets underway June the 16th. Whilst talking of Ireland, it's worth mentioning they have 4 test matches scheduled in 2023 as well. The more they have and nations like them, the better. Ashes series against Australia is going to be played in just 7 weeks. Tests being played at Edgbaston, Lords, Headingley, Old Trafford, as well as the Oval. Tightness of the schedule, though, is in part down to Australia having to honour their commitment to play South Africa in 8 limited overs games in August and September. So we get to August, Rob. International cricket, no, 100, unopposed, not allowed that. But then England will welcome New Zealand again, this time for a limited overs tour. After that, Ireland will be the opposition to round out the summer with 3 ODIs. And then I think not long after that, the completion of the English summer, 50-over World Cup will begin in India, starting October the 10th. So a jam-packed summer of Test cricket, but being crowbarred again into 2 sections whilst we move everything out of the way for the 100.
Did you say that there's one-day international cricket going alongside the 100 or after the 100?
It appears... I need to have a look again at the dates, actually. So there might be some... So South Africa is playing Australia in August and September, which is why the Ashes have been moved forward. So there's then going to be New Zealand coming over for 6, I think 3 T20s and 3 ODIs, possibly. So it might be. I need to go back to the drawing board on that one. I'm just being snarky about the 100. That's all. It's fine.
Yeah, I appreciate what they're doing with the 100 in terms of trying to give it the best opportunity to succeed because they've put so much money into it. And if they're running a business like they are. Then you need to kind of remove the blockers, and they're removing the blockers of removing every other format of cricket during that period, so you can only absorb this singular item. And I appreciate them trying to make it work. I see why they're doing it. I don't like it. I'd quite particularly like to enjoy August watching a bit of county cricket, watching a bit of test match cricket, but it's not to be. So it is a big summer for England. Ashes, key. 6 test matches feels a little bit small, but 5 against Australia kind of balanced it out quite nicely. I wouldn't have minded like a 2 test match series early summer to see what's going on, because things change over the winter.
Yeah, it'd have been fun to have had 1 at home, 1 away against Ireland to start the summer after 2 test match series. That would have been fun. Talking of potential games in England, India, Pakistan, ECB have put themselves forward and basically said, lads, if you want to play a test series, we don't mind. I mean, basically ECB are going, that's going to be a lot of money. Come on over. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure England is in the best position to offer their help to India, Pakistan, seeing as though we created the 2 countries with partition, etc. So maybe we're not the best ones to get involved in this, but it would be an amazing spectacle.
We want the money, mate.
I know, exactly. And but from a cricketing point of view, it would be amazing to have a test series of India, Pakistan in England in an English summer.
It's particularly the diversity of the English population.
Yes, awesome.
They would be packed. It would be such a different atmosphere to what you see watching England generally. They would be awesome to go and watch. But let's be honest, England cricket is just thinking about money, thinking we can sell out a couple of test matches, 5 days every day. This is good for us, and it probably could run alongside the 100 in August.
Absolutely. I don't want to say anything about that. Anyway, right, it's a couple of moves that we're not going to, over the winter as we took, we'd like to just pick out a few moves that have really caught our eye, and there's two in particular in the last week or so that really has. Sean Dixon, the 31-year-old Johannesburg batsman, he holds a UK passport. He's moving south from Durham to Somerset after a very good year. He was 838 runs before the last week of the season at 52. 4,500 runs in first-class cricket, Rob. 35 average, 1,400s. 4 of those came in 2022. A top-quality addition for Somerset. James Hildreth moving on, obviously, to retirement, so they needed a top-order batsman. Durham, a very, very big hole potentially in the top order. Who's going to open with Michael Jones, for example, assuming Alex Lees retains his England opening spot over the course of the summer.
Dixon's class, mate. His county championship season this year has been exceptional. His strike rate is incredible. It's over 70. He bagged 300 or 400s pretty early season before having an injury, 700 odd runs. Great player. Love the way he approaches the game, looks to score runs rather than just survive. I think he's what Somerset needs. Somerset's batting's been pretty poor this year, and they definitely need to bolster it, and I think they are with that signing.
Yeah, absolutely. Ollie Robinson, not the one you're thinking of, everybody. This is Ollie Robinson of Kent, the young wicketkeeper batsman, 23-year-old. He's representing England under 19s and Lions, and he's going to be filling the Ned Eckersley-shaped void for Durham from next season. Basically, he wants to keep wicket. He's a promising top-order player, but with Sam Billings' resurgence in county cricket, focusing on his red ball, obviously after a test spot in the England side, Sam Billings is, Robinson's opportunities were a little bit blocked, bottlenecked, if you like. So he's making that move to Durham. I don't think he expected to have to make this move, but it's fair play to him. He's going to chase some first-team cricket. And good luck to him. He'll be the first-choice keeper there. As I say, Ned Eckersley's moved on. And he's a pretty good batter. I think he's an ascending player. He's 445 runs at 26 as of 24th September when I looked at this. Overall first-class record, though, of averaging 30. So it's a good move for him. Also in Kent as well, we've got to remember young Jordan Cox, who is with the England T20 squad at the moment. He's also a useful wicketkeeper and a very, very highly talented young batsman as well. So this is probably a move that's going to benefit two players. Ollie Robinson is going to go and become a more senior player and get those great opportunities at Durham, and he just opens up a bit more opportunity for Jordan Cox for Kent.
Yeah, I think this is great. And you're not just getting the first-class player, you're actually getting a really good top-order white ball player as well.
Yes.
He can open at the top of the T20 game for them and get them going, obviously can hold the gloves. Incredibly talented. I actually went doing a deep dive on Cricket Archive on Oliver G. Robinson the other week.
Yeah.
Can't remember what I found out, but I did find that he'd been in some... and I need to look it up, probably for this podcast, that he... played in a lot of games with a few of the ascending England players as well. That's kind of working the way through, which doesn't give me any surprise as well. But
No.
Great player, good multi-format player. I actually think Durham are getting a really solid deal out of this.
Absolutely. And Kent, all change at Kent, there's been a lot of moves we spoke about in the last couple of pods, so it's going to be interesting for them. And just the last word on the big man, Darren Stevens, number 3 jersey has been retired by Kent as an honour for the services he's given to the county. We await his next move. He doesn't want to retire yet, so we're expecting him to turn up somewhere as a player coach next year and give it at least one more year in the first-class game. Rob, we need to end very, very quickly on this one. Not controversial at all. Mankad.
Idiots. Absolutely. Right, I'm going on this, mate.
Let me just in case anyone's not sure what we're talking about, England women needed 17 to win off 37 balls, so it wasn't particularly close. It was the last wicket. Indian bowler Deepti Sharma, Mankad and Charlie Dean taking the final wicket to clinch the win and a 3-0 ODI series win for the tourists. It was out, Rob. The rules say it was out. It's very clear it was out. If you're trying to encroach as a batsman at the non-striker's end, why shouldn't they knock the bails off? If it's a bowler could get no balled if they encroach over the line, so why should a batsman get any benefit, Rob? Go.
Right. So the thing is, it's you've been allowed to do it, and you can give a warning to the batsman. The rules have changed that you can just go and do it now, which has created a multitude of opinions on social media.
Mhm.
Some of them really like it. Most professionals that I'm reading are like, cool, it's part of the rules, they can do it, but I wouldn't do it.
Yes.
And Josh Butler's come out and said, if someone in my team did it, I would call the batsman back.
I had a conversation with someone just the other day, and I said exactly the same thing, especially in this instance that we'll get into in a second, of the actual how close it was. But if someone did it on mine and that was how close it was, and they hadn't given a warning, I'd be like, no, we're not having that. That's not how we play the game. That's just an opinion. I'm not trying to be all sanctimonious about it, but I personally don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I think it's really poor form. I think it is against the spirit of the game. Some people will say different and saying it's a rule.
But the batsman's against the spirit of the game because they were cheating.
Yeah. Also, there's a discrepancy in we gave her a warning with England saying,
Apparently
no, you didn't,
not.
mate. And India going, yeah, we did, mate. So there's obviously something gone on there. I just think it's really cheap and poor form. I wouldn't want to win a game of cricket like that. I can remember playing a game of cricket and we got a wicket to win the game, but it was quite obvious to me as captain that there was an inside edge and we got an LBW from our umpire. Great guy, like just made the wrong decision. And I called the batsman back and we lost the game. But I'd rather do that than have a sorrow. It was obvious to everyone.
Yeah. I think just to kind of put an extra level of it on the conversation is if you're as a batsman and if you're 2 foot down the track before the bowler's even got into the delivery stride, then give them a warning, and next time they do it, smash the bails and give them a send-off. I don't care. But when you're a batsman that the bat is in the crease and you're trying your hardest to maintain your bat in the crease, and the bowler's front foot is hitting the ground, and when the bowler's front foot hits the ground, we should all know in cricket that means the arm's about to come over and let the ball go.
Yeah.
So for me, the bowler has sort of fake bowled, which is, I'm not going to use the C word, but I don't like it. I think the batsman at that point, batter at that point is absolutely right to be thinking, right, I'm backing up now because the ball is out of the hand. And when you slow it down, it always looks worse. But when it's in real time, I would suggest that Charlie Dean is pretty much bang on with what she did. I just don't like the way the bowler did it. I mean, the eyes of the bowler, it was brilliant. You could see she was looking across at Charlie Dean when she was even getting into a delivery stride. So she had no intention whatsoever of bowling the ball. It was all about if she's out of the crease, I'm going to knock the bails off. That was the only thought in her mind, in my opinion. For what that's worth.
It will split opinion.
Yeah, come on.
Fine, that's fine. If you think it's okay to do that, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool as well. I really don't care. Just don't do it to me when I'm playing. Otherwise, we'll have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Look, loads of opinions are available. People get very worked up about this. All I would say is if it happened to your team and you were the batsman getting out as an individual, or your club team, or your county, or your first class, or your international team, I think we'll see it differently than when it's the bowler doing it. If it was England doing it to somebody else, I think we'd like to try and defend it. So I get why people are defending it, but come on now. Come on now.
Other opinions are available. You can find most of them on twitter.com.
Every
some
opinion.
of them quite direct, some of them involving asterisks in the middle of 4-letter words. But it's definitely something that sparked passion. So if this has sparked some passion for you, let us know what you think in the comments below, or at twitter.com/leadingedgepod, where we are constantly tweeting about cricket, which is why you're here. So hopefully you've enjoyed this.
But keep it nice. If you do disgroove us, keep it nice.
But thank you for listening, and everyone. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back again end of the England series, and then gearing up for a T20 preview for the World Cup coming up as well. It's an action-packed few months of cricket. We'll see you then.